part 2 of the Müller versus Kicks choke tube test. The first testing I did, as you probably already saw, I forgot to turn cameras on and shot targets twice and messed a bunch of stuff up. I was in a bit of a hurry. So I thought, you know what, to give these a fair shake, I'm gonna shoot them again. I'm gonna use the passing and the UFO. I'm not gonna bother shooting the decoy because even in the first test it was really wide open, so it's not gonna be tighter than the Kicks for sure. Also, I spoke with the gentleman from Müller, and he said that their choke tubes aren't designed for BB loads, which is what I'm using for coyote. You might use the same thing or similar for goose. So you definitely want to compare the two. Joel Strickland, he had great results with them, but he was using it for, he was using smaller size shot for ducks. So I'm also going to do some tests here with these Challenger 7.5 loads, and I don't have them with me right now, but I've also got some Winchester number 2. And so we can try that and see how those two compare and see if Müller can beat the Kicks with that. All right, let's get to shooting. First one up, Müller passing. Let's go have a look. So kind of what I expected, not the best pattern. Definitely gonna work, but a lot of flyers down low here and a lot of flyers up high. That's 40 inches from the bottom of the paper to the top and 36 inches wide. So the width part, not too bad. I'd say probably 4 inches on one and 3 or 4 or 5, whatever on the other. But the bottom is just about top to bottom. There's like that pellet up there and then this one down here. So kind of more of the same. All right, let's see what we can do with the UFO. This round, the Müller UFO. So again, you're gonna get a coyote with it, but we got one flyer way down at the bottom. We got a couple here at the top. You can see that. So opened up pretty wide and a couple of flyers, but like they said, it's not really made for BB. So now that we know that, kind of what we're expecting. But let's try some 7.5 and number 2s and see what happens. All right, so now we'll give these Winchester Super X 2 3/4 inch 1255 velocity, 1 1/8 ounce shot, number 2s. It says on the back here we got for coyote, fox, rabbits, pheasant, and grouse. So we'll see how these do in the UFO, and then we'll try them in the Kicks. Okay, so these ones 40 yards all over the place. We got pellets down the bottom corner here and over here, and then up in the top here, right about here somewhere. So let's see what happens next. What's your guesses? Do you think the Kicks can do better with the heavy stuff as well as the light? We're about to find out. Okay, we got the Kicks back in, and now we're going to give the Winchester number 2 shot a go and see how it does at 40 yards. Definitely a lot more pleasant shooting those than it is those BB. Well, hard to say, honestly. We got that one up at the top there. We got over on the side here and over on the side there, and then down low here. Some big openings as well over here. Nothing really great with those number 2s with the Kicks either. But we'll get the numbers and we'll see how they do once we count up all the pellets and measure the furthest 2. So now we're back at 50 yards. A little challenge that I wanted to take on, calling in the country. He's got, with this Varmint X, he's got some really amazing. He also has a Kicks. I don't think it's the Howler. I think it's a buck extra full or something that he's using. And I just wanted to see how I could compare to him. And he was shooting back at 50 yards, so I did all mine at 40. So backed up to 50, and we'll see what happens. 50 yards, Winchester Varmint X BB, and the kicks Howler lead. So 26 and a quarter, 26 and 3/4, I think is what I did at 40 yards. Man, that's awesome at 50 yards. Look at that. Yeah, it's crazy how they're actually going. Looks like they're going up higher. Because before when I shot those, they were just right, all of them right there. And nicely centered at 40. But 50, a little bit higher. Down the road, I might have to take a couple more at 50 just to make sure that they're all patterning high like that. I guess maybe at 50 yards they're still going up, but that's kind of surprising to me. We'll get in the house, I'll measure them up and see how we what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, measure up, that's the word. We'll see how we measure up to Colin in the Country with his Kicks Howler and the same ammo and his shotgun. I have to look back at his video, see what shotgun he was using. We got the SX4. Doesn't matter which one he has, we know that the Winchester SX4 is by far superior. The next test I'm doing is for this. I like to hand throw these. I don't know if you ever watched the Gould brothers. I really enjoy watching their videos. They do some cool trick shooting with the shotgun. I set the next targets at 30 yards, but I'm going to throw one of these and just see how far away it lands. And then I might come back to 20 or 25 yards, just depending on where I'm normally going to be shooting these at, and see what kind of a pattern we're getting. A horrible throw. We'll range that and see just how far we are. So I've been back and forth with how far I'm going to be. I thought, oh, it says 30 on it, we'll try 30. We're doing a distance test with these chokes, so we want to see how they do further out, but thought we'll kind of meet in the middle. I decided to finally go with 25 yards. So we got the Challenger here, target loads, right like that, pretty blue ones, and we're going to shoot at 25 yards. This is the Kicks choke. Everybody decided to drive by at the same time. Okay, 25 yards with that Kicks Howler lead at a 7.5s out of the SX4. Wow, that's really nice. I like that a lot. One teeny tiny flyer right up here, and these ones here kind of a little sporadic. Down low, we got that there, but for the most part, right on target. I'm really liking that. That looks great. All right, let's put Müller to the test and see how they do. Müller decoy with the 7.5. Okay, so a nice pattern in the middle again. That's looking great, love it. One pellet down at the bottom there. Nice pattern overall. One pellet up at the top here. Some little ones over here. A few little ones over there. But just a great overall coverage right there in the middle. That's really nice. Okay, let's see if we can tighten it up more. That was the decoy. Now we're going to try the Müller passing. Thing I like to point out, it's not a big thing. This is the Kicks choke, and if you spin it, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Kind of 25 spins to get that in there. And then when we put in the any of the Müller chokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 11 spins, and I can get it in and out. It's really amazing craftsmanship. The machining on that is awesome. All right, Müller passing with the 7.5 Challenger. So that Müller passing choke at 30 yards, or 25 I guess we're at. We're not at 30, we're at 25. Wow. Same thing, that's all good. But now we're quite a bit from the top of the paper, quite a bit from the sides of the paper, and a long ways from the bottom. I got one tiny pellet there, but those two there like that, I'm not even going to count those. The majority of it is right there. That's awesome. 25 yards. Okay, I'm excited. 25 yards. What do you think? With that Müller UFO, can we get all the pellets in that red circle? We're about to find out. All right, let's see if Müller can redeem themselves. I'm not gonna lie, with that last target, I think they already did. Interesting to see what Kicks would recommend for lighter shot, if that will tighten it up. If this is what they recommend for BB, maybe they have something that can tighten up this as well. Something I will probably be finding out in the near future. All right, here we go. Last one, UFO by Müller at 25 yards. Not all in the circle, that's for sure. Definitely got some in the circle. That little stand I've got over there, I'll show you that in a second. These shots, like I've got a little dot that in the holographic sight that's right on that, and it's dead steady, so there's no movement any direction. But there's nothing wrong with that either. A little bit of a gap there. So I actually thought it was going to be better. I wouldn't lie. Well, I would lie, but I wouldn't lie to you. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit better of a pattern. We'll compare them all side by side here. You know what? What was the last one we just shot here? The passing. I think it might have had a nicer pattern to it. But we'll get some ink marks on there. Start counting a lot of pellets. As you can see here, it's rock steady. I'm shaking a little bit from side to side, but the up and down, when I'm holding the gun, it's not going anywhere. Sitting on this stand, and yeah, it makes for a great target, great shoot, great hold. Really like that EOTech sight. Something else I noticed here when I was just picking up my empties, the bird shot and that stuff here, just a couple of feet from the table, but that Winchester Varmint X, it really is launching those out here. They're more than double the distance from the table that those other ones are. A lot of powder behind those. All right, so we're just kind of double checking things, giving these Müller chokes a fair go. After talking with the Müller representative, pretty much they're not really made for BB. They don't have one made for the BB, unfortunately. So we're not expecting great things. This here is the Kicks choke I've been using, the lead one, and it's got that really nice tight pattern there, 26.25 inches at 40 yards. That is really, really good. Here's the second time we tried again here. The Müller passing choke first off. We got 54 compared to 47 pellets. The black circle's kind of where the most pellets I could get into that 10-inch circle. And we got 34 over here and 28 here. 41 inches between the furthest two pellets. Over here we got 26. It's just kind of an amazing choke that Kicks is. The UFO was an even tighter choke than the passing, but let's see here, 54, 20, and I mean the tightest I got was that 20 in the circle right there. I tried moving the plate around anywhere and it still came out to be 20. This one here was 28, 40.5 inches between the furthest two pellets. So same thing, 40.5, furthest two pellets, 41 furthest two pellets. And then here with this amazing 26.25. So that's gonna be pretty hard to beat, I think. But what they said at the Müller was that these chokes are made for birdshot. Joel Strickland in his video, they're shooting ducks. So I'm not sure exactly what, I can't remember what he was shooting. But I decided to try the test out with 7.5 and number 2s. So let's see how the chokes did with that. So these are the Winchester 2-shot that I used for this test. And we did the Müller UFO against the Kicks Howler lead again. And this is what kind of happened with this one. So we had 75 outside of that red circle, and we had 14 inside the red circle. With this one here, I had 69 outside and 18 inside. A total of 87 and a total of 89 over here on paper total. So within 2 pellets difference. Now this, my gun is sighted in for this choke, so I don't really worry about this one being so far off to the side. The best I could get was 17, and then with this one here, 21. So, I mean, it kind of looks like the Kicks won that one as well, even with the smaller number 2s, from what I can see. I mean, 36 inches for the furthest 2 pellets, and then 40.5 inches over here for the furthest 2 pellets. So I'm going to call that another win for Kicks. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible, like some of the pellets might have went off the page on this side, especially seeing that the majority of the pellets are in that black circle. So I guess that's a possibility. But I mean, they're number 2s. This one here, if it hit everything on the page, there's 87. So realistically, this one here has more pellets. So I think they're all there, or as many at least as there is on the other side. I don't know. I'm going to call that a win again for Kicks. And now we'll move on to the 7.5 shot. I will say I wish I had done the passing choke maybe. So I may do a passing choke tomorrow, the Müller passing, just because it's probably doing as good or almost better than the UFO in a lot of these tests, I find anyways. So maybe we'll still have to give the passing a try. I did do the passing in the 7.5 and the UFO as well. So let's see how that turned out. So with the 7.5, I did things a little differently, just because there's so many pellets to count. I only counted the pellets outside of the 10-inch circle. So if you look outside the 10-inch circle, I marked all those and counted those. So this is the most open choke that Müller has with the H2O chokes. It's the decoy. And I did everything here at 25 yards. So outside of the circle was 189 pellets. So now we got to remember, with this kind of a test, you want lower numbers. Lower numbers are better because that means you have more pellets inside the circle. A nice pattern there, outside wide. So that's not too bad, but we're looking for the tightest choke we can get. Now with this one here, this is the UFO again. So we had 189 with the decoy. This is the tightest choke, and it was 172. And so you can kind of see there. I did outside the circle, but it might be off a little bit. So the pellets looked a little bit more to the right. So I kind of moved everything to the right and just used that as a point of aim more, so just to get the most number of pellets possible. So 172, 189, 172. Now the Müller passing. at 25 yards. See everything right in there, really nice. And outside the circle, just a nice all-around spread, a little bit tighter. So we went from 172 down to 151 pellets outside of the circle. So that was a really nice pattern there. But the Kicks Howler, can it beat it? 151 outside? Well, let's have a look. That pattern there like that. What do you think? We have to beat 151. We want to be lower than 151 pellets outside the circle. 156. 5 pellets difference. So that was really close. Even though the Müller passing won that one by 5 pellets, I'm definitely going to be sticking with the Kicks Howler. Just because I can shoot the BBs, I can shoot the 7.5s, and it basically won the number 2s contest as well. So that choke, for me, is working really well. And definitely going to be my go-to choke just about no matter what I'm doing. The only time I might use a different choke is if I'm calling coyotes in the bush. Might want not quite so tight of a pattern, because lots of times you're calling them 10 yards and less even. And so those BBs are going to make a big hole, and that's what we don't want. Well, I hope you enjoyed this testing as much as I did. Oh yeah, one more to go. So I challenged Colin the Country. He also uses the Kicks choke and the Winchester Varmint X BB. You can watch his video. He shows a bunch of different loads and how they do in his gun. Because of his video, I started using this Winchester Varmint X, and it works really well, like you've seen in the videos. He was able at 50 yards to get, I think it was 17 pellets in a 10-inch circle. So we did a little bit better. The actual where we were aiming, not so good. There's only 10 pellets in there. But we got 27 over here in that 10-inch circle. So I was really happy with that. In his video, he does say that he forgot his rangefinder, so he was guesstimating the 50 yards. So he could have been a little further out, who knows. But yeah, if your shotgun with that load can get those kind of groups at 50 yards, whether or not you should shoot a coyote at 50 yards with this load, that's yet to be determined. But at 40 yards and 50 yards, those are pretty decent patterns. I will be shooting a few more of these rounds at 50 yards just to see if it's always up and high like that and to the right, or was that just a fluke. I know I didn't pull it. I've got it on that stand, so it's very steady. Especially with that holographic sight, I can see exactly where I'm aiming. I put the dot right on that orange dot, so there's no pilot error. But yeah, so anyways, very happy with the shotgun. The SX4 Winchester is great. That one that I use is the Universal. I'll just grab it for a second. So you can see it's the SX4, the mossy oak. It's got the Country DNA mossy oak on it. Looks great, really nice gun. That EOTech 512, it's been working well for me. The other day it did have a little glitch, but that was short-lived, and then it snapped right out of it with the next shot. So just wrangled his brain a little bit with those 3-inch, I guess. And yeah, I got the Tacticam. I'll be mounting that on the Frontier this year. See if I can get some good shotgun video. And yeah. Anyways, this SX4, like I said, it's the Universal. So that was the only SX4 they made that had the that was tapped on top, so you could put a Picatinny rail up there, and that's what I wanted, so I could mount that properly. I looked into, I phoned Winchester and talked to them about using a normal SX4 and having somebody tap the top, but they said there wasn't quite enough material, so they didn't recommend it. So that's why I ended up having to find this one. I had to look a long ways to find it. Finally found it. We're in Alberta, and I ended up finding it in Ontario, and the store there was good enough to ship it to me. But yeah, super nice gun. I did put this on here. It's a very expensive butt pad. It's like $200 Canadian. And I don't know if I'm happy with it or not. It's very sticky rubber, so sometimes it catches on your winter jacket. And I'm still up in the air about that one. We'll see. Well, I'll do a little more testing with it. I'll take it off maybe and try it with the stock one, and then put it back on and try it with that one. Because I know even with that on there, those 3-inch, they pack a pretty good wallop. So it's supposed to reduce recoil by 80%, and I just don't think it does. Because I had an old Stoeger M3500, and honestly, I don't feel any difference in the amount of kick between that and the Stoeger. So we'll see. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and we'll try and continue on looking for a choke that can get these groups tighter than this Howler. Not gonna be easy. Maybe a Pattern Master or Carlson's. We'll have to try those next. I just wanted to say that this video has showed me the importance of patterning your own gun with your own chokes and the ammo that you're going to be hunting with. I kind of did this whole thing. The reason I got the Müller chokes is because of Joel Strickland's video. He said that the Müller chokes did better than anything else they've tried. Well, that's not the case with this BB, because I'm using a different size of ammo that he used as well. He also said in 100% of their tests that a ported choke didn't do as good as a smooth choke. That is another example of where his results and my results were different. The smooth choke didn't do as good as the ported choke. So very, very important to always test your own equipment with what you're going to be hunting with, because you can have results from gun to gun, from choke to choke. Everybody's stuff can be different.